Hi, I am going to show you today what I'm going to call the Optic Art Lesson. We're going to create an optical illusion. All you need are colored pencils, a regular pencil, a marker if you have one, preferably a sharpener. And if you don't have colored pencils, you can use crayons or magic markers. Whatever you have around is what you should use. This is what we're going to end up with, some tubes that look round and curved. So we're going to create an optical illusion. This is clearly a flat sheet of paper, but with form and shading, we're going to make it look like some round tubes. Step one is just take a sheet of white paper and draw curvy lines like this, kind of irregular. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. The next step is take your pencil and draw a line across the middle of the paper, and then below the line make your lines curving downward. Above the line make your lines curving upward. In that way we're going to create the tubes that are going to appear as if they are round. Next step, I'd like you to erase this line down the middle. And I think that just makes it look more like a continuous tube. So go ahead and erase this line. The next step, if you have a dark marker, go ahead and go over all those lines with a dark marker. That's just going to make it look a lot more dramatic. And if you don't have a dark marker, you can still do this with what you have. When we start shading, you can choose whatever colors you like. And again, this was my finished product. I decided to use pink and orange on this tube. So the first step is to just shade very lightly with light pressure every other stripe, like this. Now, the main thing is, do you see this white line that I left down the middle? That is like an imaginary line. Don't color that part. And that will force the areas that are white pop out and look as if they're in the foreground, and then areas that are shaded appear to disappear into the background. So the next step, I did every other stripe pink, and then I did the next stripe orange, and same thing, I just colored lightly, and then at the edges I pressed down really hard. So this gives it, again, the illusion that it is curved and receding into the background. So the next step, I went ahead and I did all the tubes. Another thing that I'd like you to take away from this lesson, I used contiguous colors. Contiguous means in relationship to art, contiguous means the colors are touching on the color wheel. So the examples are green and blue and red and orange, and we use those in art, and we use that term in art because they just look nice together. Now, the last thing I also did is, if you look at this, which one appears to be the most three-dimensional? It's this one, because this is the one where I took my darkest color, and I just chose a dark brown. You could use a regular pencil, and I made it really, really dark right at the lines, right at the edges. So you can tell this one really looks three-dimensional, and these don't look quite as three-dimensional because I didn't do that on these. So again, just right at the edge, the very edge where it drops into the abyss, make it really dark with a darker color. So that's your optic art. And the takeaway also from this, a few terms that we can learn. Form plus shading contributes to the optical illusion. So I'd like you to learn these words by trying to use them in a sentence. The word contribute means help to bring about. The word illusion means a thing that is likely to be wrongly interpreted by the senses. And the other term I used is contiguous. Contiguous means touching or adjacent to. And the way I hear it most is people refer to the contiguous United States. And that means all of the United States, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, because those states are not touching the mainland. So again, and also in math, you might hear the term contiguous triangles, which means two triangles that are touching. So try to use some new words. Whenever you run across a new word in a book or you're reading, or in today's art lesson, try to use those words in a sentence, and then you will be more likely to remember them. Thanks for listening, and I hope you'll try this lesson